This is a Forwardly podcast.
Hi, everyone. It's Cadence. We've been taking a little break because we've been prepping for season 3, which we're very excited about, if I may say so myself. But in the meantime, we thought maybe we'd do a roundup of some of our favorite jokes, and maybe it's a little self-indulgent. It probably is. But these are all the moments from season 2 Pacific Blue that made us laugh until we cried, and we just wanted to take a second and revisit them with you. So here's part 1.
And so we talked about the precinct earlier, and that's where she has gone. It's this old warehouse that, again, this ragtag team apparently had to pay for out of pocket because, again...
Right, because Lieutenant Anthony Palermo was his brainchild.
Tony Palermo.
Chris Kelly.
Right.
So, what's with the firehouse?
The city was going to tear it down, so I grabbed it for the bike patrol.
But, the city didn't, even though they're still cops, you guys, they're still cops. For some reason, because they wanted to patrol on bikes, the city was like, well, no, now you have to make your own money. Now you have to buy your own building. Now you have to renovate your own space. So you do what you want.
So he's like, I found this space and we're redoing it. And you can see there's desks in the middle of it and the bike carcasses.
It's empty.
No one's there. So you know that's no too well.
Anthony explains to her what this is. Like, oh, this is a two-wheeler precinct. This is a bike precinct. And she's like, are you kidding me? I already was doing a job that was below my station. I flew for the Navy and they're putting me on a bike?
How?
When do I get out pedaling after the bad guys? And he's like, oh, no.
Bitch, slow down.
You need to brake, no pun intended.
No. Oh, that was a good one. Elvis, make her a bike with extra brakes because bitch needs to calm down.
And you know what? He says, you can't get out. You can't pedal after bad guys without training. And you guys know how much training she needs?
I want you to understand that what we do here is one-on-one policing. Back to the concept of a beat cop. Get to know people on the street, develop relationships with them.
Yeah, sounds really cool.
We get our share of excitement.
Great. When can I start pedaling down the bad guys?
Right after you've had 3 days of training.
No offense, Lieutenant, but I flew for the Navy. I think I can handle your little rallies.
They're Schwinn's. And I'll let you know when you can handle them, patrolling Kelly.
3 days.
3 days.
You guys, I had to train a lot longer to pour coffee for people. But I guess you can be a bike cop if you just need 3 days of training.
It's amazing because we see at this point, too, one of the greatest series that happens.
Oh, God, you guys are dying.
Which is the bike training montage.
And we have to play a clip. It's so incredible.
Imagine 5 cones in a row in a line, right?
Very spread apart, like maybe 10 feet apart.
And then you're on a bike, and you have to weave through those cones at a normal speed, not fast.
And you think that's challenging. Wait, at the end of those 5 cones spread 10 feet apart, there's a bigger cone where someone's ducking down behind it. Maybe Lieutenant Anthony, we don't know. And he jumps out at the very end, and you have to brake. Shit, brake!
And she can't quite figure out how her brakes work. And so
her front wheel stops, and she kind of flips up like a horse.
Moving. Yeah. The momentum of her body keeps moving, and you're like, you're a Navy pilot, and you cannot figure out a brake on a 10
And
speed.
it's so funny because she is struggling, and like the montage is that classic music, but it's just the same footage of her doing the same thing over again, learning to brake. But eventually we know that she starts to get it. I'm so proud of Chris. I'm so proud of you, Chris. I was on the edge of my seat. Were you going to learn how to brake? Were you not? Was he going to jump out for the 4th time and scare you again?
Because he just sort of stands in front of her, like blocking her. Like, you can't go past me, you can't get past me.
Well, no, am I going to go left or right? And those are the decisions that you have to make if you're a bike cop, which is we're sitting here judging this from our.
But we wouldn't know how to make that choice.
We wouldn't know how to make that choice. We would fall over on our bike. I would stop and then do that fall over thing.
Or you don't stabilize yourself with your leg. You
just like fall over, and I wouldn't make it on the team. So we're coming at it from a place
such a good series.
We just don't understand.
I really hope that there's some sort of official ceremony after those 3 days.
Oh my gosh, he gets a little bike trophy.
And look at the little certificate, and he's like, "You're officially a 2-wheeler now.
You did it, Chris.
You're one of us."
And she's just like crying because she's like, 3 days ago, I was a milk carton busting drugs in a kindergarten. And And now, 3 days later, I'm a two-wheeled bike cop.
Oh, it'd be so good.
Oh, we love
They had a real
you.
missed opportunity there. I was listening to what you were saying, and then I was thinking about what I was saying, and then I lost my train of thought because I was thinking about how we used to always question things in Baywatch Hawaii, and then we'd be like, you know what? We're not elite lifeguards. We wouldn't know.
Yeah, we just got to stop doing
So
that.
I was thinking, like, we're not carjackers who are very good at their job, so we wouldn't know. That's why that's not our job.
Never been a carjacker, but I've been jacked in a car. Just kidding, I haven't. Maybe.
All along Venice Beach.
All along Venice Beach.
In a
up
multiple
and down.
string
And
of
it
jacks
was
and cars.
with the mayor, surprisingly. And we know that there is a hardcore discrimination between the two-wheeled cops, the bike cops, and
We've
the four-wheeled
explored
cops.
this class warfare between
Class
the car and the
warfare.
bikes.
And there's still this tension. Nobody cares that there's a dead guy in the pool. They're just
Yeah,
trying
never
to like
mind
insult
that
each
this is
other.
a homicide.
And
Never
this is
mind.
Katie, tell him the best joke that we just saw. It was so funny.
So TC tries to introduce himself to the four-wheel detective, and he's like,
I'm Officer Calloway. Friends call me TC. The guy was murdered.
TC. Oh, that must stand for tricycle.
"That's short for tricycle."
So stupid. Tricycles were a
Stupid.
word.
Does not make any sense.
It was a
And
90s
B,
burn. The four-wheel
You
cop
got a
got
dead
you.
body right here, and that's your main concern. And then he also goes on to make a joke about them popping wheelies, and I'm like, can we
The whole thing, you guys,
on the
is that
dead body in the
Yeah,
pool?
work
Please?
together. There's someone that's been murdered in a pool, and all you can do is like insult each other. But actually, TC and Chris are not insulting the four-wheel cops. It's more like the four-wheel cops.
No.
And then he's like,
Look and learn. The guy tied one on. Stumbled heading into the house, falling into the pool. It's an accident. I've seen it happen 1,000 times.
and TC's like, oh, I do know one thing.
Oh, jeez, and I'm sorry to get you down here, Detective. Your whole theory makes sense. Oh, except for this. I guess after he hit himself in the head with this pipe and died, he threw it in the bushes and jumped in the pool.
And he pulls out this giant rod from the bushes, and he's like, this is the murder weapon. And I'm like, TC, were you waiting for that? Were you waiting for that grand reveal?
Never mind that they've been there gathering evidence for like an hour, and that should be already bagged and tagged. He's like,
Also,
just leave it. I've got
Did you find
great
it? And
idea.
then, did you find it, TC, and then put it back under the bush? He's like,
Someone's
oh,
like,
this is going to be
and
a
he's
good
like,
reveal
leave it
later. Yeah, this is going to be
when
a
the
good
four
reveal
wheelies
later.
get here, it's gonna be amazing. They're gonna look like
Chris,
idiots.
Chris, you put that down, leave it there. I've got the best plan for a surprise. They were so distracted by forearm over areola that they could not do it.
I'd say the brunette was 34, 35, no, 36, double D. Blue eyes, about 5'7", 110 pounds. The blonde had light green eyes, was 5'8", and about 112 pounds, and she was about a 34 C cup.
A 34C and a 36?
Double D.
Is that all you can tell us?
Sorry.
This is pathetic. Every man in here can tell us anything we want to know about these women, right down to how many freckles they had on their fannies. But not a single one of you can tell us what the guy with the gun looked like.
Anyone?
Blonde was natural, if that helps.
Oh.
So they're like, I don't know, maybe they're double D. The other one was definitely a C cup, and if it helps, she was all natural. And it's like, no, it doesn't help. It doesn't help.
Really kind of almost like borderline
So
gross.
gross.
It's really gross. Like,
No, it was not
I
borderline.
get-
It was straight up gross.
I get being like, oh, well, for like height, you're like, oh, she was like maybe 5'4", but to be like, oh yeah, her thighs were, a quarter and they could wrap around me, and she had no
I want to
waist.
know what a quarter thigh is.
I don't know what I don't say. I have no idea. I think I was trying to think thigh gap. Obviously, I would be zero help describing to anybody.
We're giving so much shit to these guys, but you would not do it.
Her thighs were about a quarter, and her
You'd be like,
midsection was around on that roll of her fifth, and they're just like, what are you talking about? But yes, it's so gross how they describe it. And so they start to think, Corey and Del Toro being the smart bike cops that they are, they're like, you know what? This sounds a little too fishy. Leaps up on the hood, uses his front wheel to then knock the gun out of Jordan's hand and and Jordan falls down. He then jumps off the hood, lands on his bike, gets off, and saves the day. It is just as amazing as you could possibly think.
If you've never seen a guy knock a gun out of someone's hand with a bike wheel, you are not living.
And
you have not lived.
You have not lived. And the bike is on the hood of a car. It's not on the ground. He's like already above him, and then and he kind of like knocks him out too. The gun and his face like falls down.
Yeah, the whole
it's
thing
amazing.
because he's got the momentum of the bike and the momentum of his body going.
Have you seen Have you
so-
seen a four-wheel cop do that? Have you seen a cop do that? Have you seen a?
Well, I was just gonna say, who comes running to the scene way too late? Oh, just the four-wheel cop.
Yeah.
Just the four-wheel.
Can you do
cop.
that in a car, Mr. Four-wheel, out-of-shape four-wheeler with scurvy? Can you jump up on a hood and use your steering wheel? I don't think so.
Exactly.
I don't think so.
So at the very end, the four-wheel cop gives him like the tiniest bit of credit.
Bad enough I gotta go back to Metro and tell him that you saved my life, but then you gotta go and catch this guy on a bike?
Just doing my job.
You do it pretty good, even if you do it on two wheels.
Ugh.
And then he's like, bye.
Fucking four-wheel cop. So they catch
Why
the
are
guy.
they so mean? I don't get it.
I don't know. So obviously Candy
Anyway.
Love is saved. They kind of reprimand her like, why did you do that? You could have been so killed. And she was like, I wanted to save lives because I'm a traveling sex gypsy. And they're like, okay, whatever. So
That's what you do when you're a
That's what
traveling
you
sex
do.
gypsy.
and so they all go back to the precinct and everyone's tired. And finally, Corey
Tell
and
me more. Tell me more about how they decompress from this.
they go have a cup of tea. They're talking it out, expressing their feelings. They turn on
They
Oprah.
walk. They're not walking that fast. They're walking like probably like mid speed, but
And
they
they're
can't go too fast because they're very tired. They're really worn out. So they're just sort of like casually walking back to the precinct. They're talking about their day.
You are such a bitch. Can't do anything right. I feel like Jordan right now, and I want to scope you out with the. So
You
they're
wanna
relaxing.
scope me
They're
out?
relaxing. Oh God, shut up! You're just ruining my concentration. I'm trying to tell a story. Everyone's on the edge of their seat to find out what happens right now.
I'm so sure they're like, did they sit down at the precinct or did they stay standing? Tell us more.
No, they're worrying about what the hell happened with the strippers, the stripper robbers.
True.
And I'm
true.
sure if you're like me, you're wondering what's going on with them hoes.
And Todd's girlfriend, who is now inheriting his class ring, Todd's class ring,
Ooh, okay. So,
tells
silver lining.
she tells TC that Todd said the happiest he's ever been in his life is when he was friends with TC.
Oh, that is so sweet. That is really sweet.
Right.
But when
Listen, you're asking the wrong question.
when are we just hanging out, Katie? And I'm like, hey, you know, the happiest I ever was when I was friends with this guy named Michael. He was so my best friend. Like, no one does that. I mean, I guess.
I really
maybe.
love this moment that I'm in with you. However,
The
it is
best times
not
of my
as
life.
good as the moment that I was with my friend Beth. It just wasn't. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love you. I love making love. I'm talking to a
Okay, it took a weird turn, Katie Road.
I was thinking about
Like you were you were with your partner.
yes, because Todd is with this beautiful buxom
I got what you were
blonde.
saying, but it just came
And in
out.
that moment, I imagined Todd and this beautiful woman like embracing it in lust, and him just being like, you know what, this is all right, but like the best time I ever had was with TC.
Slippery old oiled up TC.
We never had friction. We just slithered and slathered. It was real natural. So TC says, okay, that's great. Is there anything else?
All I know is that he lives with his stepsister, a blonde named Shannon.
Any idea where I can find her?
She practically lives on roller skates down at Doom Cove. She's got a rose tattoo on her shoulder. Can't miss her.
And she does
The classic. I don't know anything at all. All I know is that Todd lived with his stepsister, and his stepsister lives in Venice, and her address is 2145, and they've been living together for like 4 years, and she had a baby from this other guy's brother, but then Todd was like really upset about it, and like she also works at this place. I don't know exactly where it is, but I believe it's called Carneros. So she basically gives him all the specific information he needs to track this down.
He's like, yeah, you're right, you don't know much, but I think I can start
But
with that.
we always crack up because every episode, it's like cops will be questioning someone, and it'll be like, tell me anything you know. And they're like, I don't know anything. All I know is that he worked at this specific place and he was on leave from his W-2 and his W-2 number got put back by the IRS and then they redid a 1099 and he's contracted and he was only making $14 an hour and then HR and they're just like, okay, so you know everything.
Right.
Everything about why contest. Just say, you know what? I know a lot of stuff. Why do you have to go through this rigmarole? Just say, you know what? I do know a lot. Let me tell you.
You know what? You might want to grab a notebook. I've got a lot of info.
A lot to tell you. And you were like, there's a killer turkey. And he comes up, Glare Blar, the Garbler. And I'm like, it's gobble, gobble. Garbler,
No! You always give me shit about this. But I was quoting the turkey because he says gobble, gobble, motherfucker. And I said gobble, gother because I was trying to say it.
Gobbler, Marner. So you have no right to make comments
All
on
right,
my
all right. I make a lot of mistakes too.
You're the worst. We really didn't know, and the show, if it's based on any kind of reality,
Who knows?
They say that if it's your own privately owned thing, you can do whatever you want. And
that if he was to move it onto the sidewalk, they could arrest him, but
they
not
can't.
if it's his business.
We need to look up. We are not lawyer. We got to figure this out. But it was brought a lot of questions.
Oh,
up.
but you know who is a lawyer?
Oh, that's what I was getting at.
Carl.
So Carl, the neo-Nazi, not only owns a bar and restaurant, he also went to night school to become a lawyer.
He got his law degree from night school. As one does.
He's a fucking monster, but you know what? He went to night school. He's trying to make something of himself.
He's the leader of the Nazi group.
He's a monster.
Owns a bar and grill.
But he's trying to make something
and
of himself.
also a night school lawyer. You know what? So whatever, Carl.
Do your thing. And that's why he knows he can do
Or
all
don't
these
do your
things.
thing.
Or, yeah, don't do your
Absolutely do not do your thing.
Do your things.
So at that moment, the station, that's a fire station, but also the police station,
Where all of our bike cops are.
gets the call, and Palermo's like, oh, there's a big fight at our favorite Nazi bar. And Del Toro's like, let me at him. And he's like, no, I already sent 2 big units in. And then we cut to the bar, and TC walks in the door alone. So
we're like-
Colin and I are just like, are the units his biceps?
We
Like,
think
what
the
are
unit
the
is
2
like,
big
yeah,
units?
he's like flexing like unit 1, unit 2.
I mean, like 2 big units.
We're like, you said, he literally uses the word 2 big units.
2 big units.
To the scene. And it is just TC walking
Is that
in.
TC's nickname? 2 big
You
units?
got a couple big units, uh-huh.
I'm trying to imagine the sexual connotation.
I know, I was like, because a unit, you can call it a
2
unit.
big unit, but 2 big units.
Hey.
I mean,
if you got them flaunting,
that's
right?
true.
You got it flaunting.
That's true. More power to you, TC. If you got 2 big units, call me.
We can play Leaky Submarine.
He's probably so good at that game.
He's probably really good at that game.
At this point, Carl has arranged it, he and his friends, since they're the only ones who have, quote, witnessed these incidents, that they're trying to get TC suspended. And TC's like, fine, suspend me. Take my badge, take my bun. Just take my bun, take my badge.
I know, you were like, fine, suspend me. Take my badge. Suspend me. Do it. Take my badge. Take my gold. Take my club. I'm like, what are you doing?
They're in a bar, so he's a little tipsy.
He's a little tipsy.
He's got him singing me, just singing for him. Let's
And dare you suspend me. It turns out that on Carl's walk home, he sees Mello. He was that young boy we talked about earlier. His name is Tucker. He's like 14.
He's been tagging.
He's been tagging around town. He sees some of his tagging work, and he decides that he is going to enhance it, his own words, with his neo-Nazi symbolism, and it's awful.
And it's beautiful because at this point, Mello has been...
I just said it's awful, and you're like, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful because Mello's artwork has been accepted by the community. It's been accepted by the police department.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
not getting trouble for it. They're really wanting him to embrace
This
like
isn't tagging
being a
anymore.
mural painter.
Yeah, this isn't tagging anymore. It's like street art.
And because of that, Carl's ticked off because he's like, oh, so because he's black, he can just ruin the city with all of his paint?
He's basically a Karen.
Okay.
He's basically a Karen.
So he comes in and sprays everything with neo-Nazi signs. And then when the police approach him about it, he's like,
Boy, what's the matter, Lieutenant? You can't appreciate the work of a Caucasian artist?
You desecrated my building.
Really? Well, the way I see it, I improved the existing work. You know, added a certain artistic statement to it. Matter of fact, I got the whole idea out of a book. What was that guy's name?
Ocampo.
That's it. Manuel Ocampo. He put all kinds of Nazi symbolism in his work. They sell for lots of money.
You had no right to paint that building.
Oh, I think I did, lady. But you guys chose not to prosecute that little guy for his handiwork down there. Since I can only assume it's open season for minority artists, I felt a little need to express myself. You know, Lieutenant, being a white Anglo artist, I may be the one who's a minority around here. How's that for irony?
It's like, no, bitch, you are. A, it's awful art. Your workmanship is awful.
Right. It's a
But B,
swastika.
look at what it is. Fagging idiot.
Yeah. So he's real ticked about Carl, but they still don't have any proof that Carl did it. The police can't prove it.
There's no
And
proof.
so Mello, in an effort to get back at Carl,
there's one good thing Mello's good at besides tagging. Car bombs. Well,
his
no.
side gig.
I guess it's not a car bomb. It's like when you put. Actually, how does that work? They put the
Molotov cocktail.
Yeah.
It's where you have a bottle of alcohol, you light a piece of like fabric, and then it blows up.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I figured it was that. So he does a
So-
Molotov cocktail.
A Molotov cocktail.
Molotov. Okay, go ahead, keep going.
And he throws it in the car. And the best part is he calls Carl. Carl's working at his Nazi bar. He calls Carl. He's like,
Tell me something. How good's your nose?
Come again?
I was just wondering. Can't you smell it yet, Carl?
Smell? Smell what?
Why don't you come outside and see? Can't you smell the smoke yet? Why don't you open your big white nostrils?
oh, you can't smell that with your big white nostrils?
Oh no. Magruder. This man comes up to him and says the most bizarre thing out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Cadence are dying. He's like,
he thinks he is too good for me. Well, maybe I'm not the kind of quality guy that you meet in rehab.
hey, I guess I'm not the stand-up type of guy that you meet in rehab. And we're like, what the fuck does rehab have to do with any of this? What is happening? And then
There's no pretext.
pretext.
There's nothing.
Yeah, and so
what the hell does that even
Magruder,
mean?
it pushed his buttons for sure, though, because Magruder's like, you want to go, and he breaks a pull stick over his leg and just goes nuts. Like it was like a trigger for him. Obviously, Magruder's been through a lot, and maybe he had some
Obviously,
past
there's
trauma.
like some trigger happening for him emotionally. And he says,
You're on the cutting room floor, babe. So cute.
And then he does a
finger gun.
Which is, in the gay world, that is, someone's into you if they finger gun you.
well, I also know someone's into me if they finger gun me, if you know what I
You're the worst. Such mom humor. I love it. Such spicy mom humor. You're so dumb.
They start kissing. Okay. She lays down on the ground. He lays on top of her. He starts nuzzling her police badge.
Not nuzzling
And
it.
then he licks
He
it.
starts licking her police bag like a little dog. Licking her police badge, nuzzling her, getting really intense. And she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, no, stop. And he keeps like doing
And
it.
then
And she's
he-
like, then he pulls out her gun saddle thing, her police
gun
tool
saddle.
belt. It's like a police tool
Yeah,
belt.
yeah, yeah.
It's like a fanny pack with her gun and everything. And he's like, put this on. And she's like, no, come on. And he like puts it on her and he's like, no, put it on. And she's like, what are you doing? Then he continues to get very forceful with
And he's
her.
like, put it on,
And he's
put
like
it on.
licking her badge and putting it on and getting, and then she's like,
Get off me. I said get off! Oh. What the hell is wrong with you?
get off of me.
And she knees him in the balls.
Knees him in the balls. He falls off and he's like,
I just like lady cops.
You are sick.
okay, let's break this down.
I can't handle it.
It's okay to fetishize someone, maybe, but just communicate with her.
We had a big discussion
beforehand.
about this, yeah.
Communicate. Be like, hey, I think you're a great person. You're beautiful. You're a
I
cop
love
is
all
a
parts of
bonus.
you.
But guess what? I get really turned on by a cop uniform.
Do you want to role play?
Yeah, like anytime, or not even role play. I just let you know
Right,
that
right,
I get
right,
really
right,
turned
right.
on, because then the licking the badge could be
Right.
realistically a little more understandable.
9 times out of 10, if someone's like, when you do A, B, C, it turns me on. The person's going to do A, B, and C for you as a favor.
Yeah. So we're just like, why? This could have all been avoided if you would have just communicated a little bit.
Instead
that
of just
cops turned
forcing
you on.
that goddamn belt on her.
And then you find out that he's like, cops are my thing. It's a fetish. I want to be. When you talked about handcuffing that guy and your story.
Which,
and,
okay, great. Let's handcuff each other. More
Just
power to you.
don't-
Just say it.
Like, if I'm going to start making out with someone that I'm just getting to know, I'm not going to force my fetish on them without telling them and then get mad when they're
Yes.
like, what are you doing?
Yes.
And then I'm going to be like, oh, by
Like,
the way.
they should understand it.
Yeah, by the way, I love doing A, B, and C. And it's like, No, you talked to me about this beforehand.
Yeah. Clarify the rules.
Yeah.
Communicate effectively. Participate in a consensual situation.
Yeah, and then
we're good to go.
We all know anytime it's no is no. So that he should have stopped right because it goes into that realm of he's so turned on that now he's being like very rapey, and that's just not right. So this could have been avoided at so many different levels.
It was a problem that so easily did not need to be a problem. So easily did not need to be a problem.
But he just didn't. So she's like, I'm done with you.
Not very smart for a teacher.
Not very smart
Needs
for a
to
teacher.
learn a thing or two.
Boom. She elbows him and she's like, I'm never going to do a class
she gets
again.
the hell out of there.
Are you talking about, well, don't tell me her name. We just talked about it. What was her name? Meredith. Meridol.
Annette?
I was getting so close. I knew it. Annette.
Meredith? Meridol? No, you were not getting closer. I'm so sorry to tell you.
Annette, yes.
You were not close.
I was not close at all.
Anyway, we cut back to the police station / old fire station, and they're sitting around having a very important group meeting because you know what? After TC and Chris's bust, now they know that steroids on the streets are a big problem.
Yeah, we're having this like after school special with all the team talking about those roids and how intense they are.
Yeah, and Del Toro's number one concern is...
Lieutenant, I heard if you use this stuff, it could shrink up your nads.
I heard they'll shrink your nuts!
It's the best line.
And Palermo's like listing all these things. He's like, it causes kidney failure, liver failure.
But it shrinks your nuts.
It's going to cause eventually it's going to cause cancer. And Del Toro's just in the background with his chain. Hey, did you say something about nuts?
Of course Del Toro is saying something about nuts. I mean, he knows a thing or two about them.
Shrinks your nuts, man. As they're doing their very strict workout, they look over and who's there? Annette.
She's pumping that iron. But guess what? She's feeling a little...
Yeah, she's not looking so good. As Palermo's trying to lift his last bench press, she faints. And he almost dies because Sheila lets that bar fall right on Palermo's chest.
Well, she probably feels bad, Sheila. She probably knows that she's tired because she sent her home to sleep in her car last night after hulking out on her whole store or restaurant.
She's like, no, I definitely made the right call to send a drug-addled woman back to a car to sleep and then come work out the next day. Yeah, I feel great about that choice.
Yeah, and also like they didn't
the right one.
Also, just to paint a visual, Palermo and Sheila like spying on, like they see her, but they're not saying anything until she passes out.
Yeah, Sheila doesn't at any point walk up to her and say, hey, I'm real sorry about last night. Like, how are you feeling?
Yeah,
are
nothing.
You doing any better? Is there
She's just
anything
like,
I can do to help
you know what? Let's spy on this worker I have. Let's see what she's doing until the point where she faints.
And Annette's like maybe 24, 25, and Sheila and Palermo are definitely in their mid-40s. So it feels like they should be coming at this from a much more mature and thoughtful angle than they are, but whatever. Anywho, so Annette, as we said, passes out mid-bar lift or whatever it's called.
Annette! Hey. She's not breathing. Call a paramedic. Go!
They rush over to her. They call the ambulance. The ambulance is like, listen, we can't force her to go to the hospital if she doesn't want to go. So Palermo's like, let me try to talk to her. I think I could force her to go. And so he goes over and he's...
Oh, Palermo.
Like, Annette, listen to me. This isn't smart, okay? You stop breathing. You've got to let them take you.
I just passed out. You know, I'm fine, really.
No, you're not. I had to give you CPR.
And I appreciate your help.
I had to give you CPR. She's like, yes, and I very much appreciate that, but I don't need to go to the hospital.
Oh, Annette, you know you have a problem, girl, when someone does CPR to bring you back and you're like, no, I'm fine. I'll just take some aspirin. I'm fine. It's okay. He's like, I literally did chest compressions on you.
I brought you back to life. And she goes, and I appreciate that.
But I've got to get back to working out because I have missed physique 3 years in a row.
It's so good. I love it so much. Like her chest is not, her ribs aren't cracked from the CPR. She's just perfectly fine, just standing up talking like, no, I had to be resuscitated, but I've got to get back to work.
Who cares? Who cares? It's a Tuesday. I don't care. This happens all the time. I'm resuscitated. Oh, Annette, you are too deep in these drugs, girl. You need to like step back.
You are not
see the
thinking
situation
clearly,
going on
Annette.
here.
If someone had to resuscitate you back to life, maybe don't go right back to work.
So,
yeah, he has 0. And she keeps thinking, I mean, part of her bad is that she keeps thinking he's going to have some kind of compassion. Like at this point, she literally tells him, listen, I'm not going to be able to do this anymore. Like I almost died yesterday. And he's like, I did not ask what happened to you yesterday.
Yeah, I don't give a shit
care.
about your life story, Annette.
And she keeps thinking like he's going to feel sorry for her if she cries or something. And he's like, absolutely not. But I will punch you.
He's a 7-foot-tall, well-dressed drug dealer. There's no way he's feeling sympathy for her. Get it together.
Absolutely freaking not. So he leaves. She's knocked out cold, laying on the asphalt.
Face down, just people stepping over her.
It's true.
Oh, poor baby girl, Annette. What if this is when you have to
Annette.
question, like, what is my life?
She's
You have to really start asking yourself, laying on that cold asphalt, people stepping over you, like,
Is this worth it?
how'd I
Should
get
I
here?
really be Miss Physique?
Is Miss Physique at Muscle Beach really worth all of this? It's like slow, like Coldplay in the background. Oh, I'm sorry, Annette. We're not meaning to make fun of you, but there's just poor girl. You are
we respect
out.
the Miss Physique contest.
You do whatever you gotta do to get there, girl. You can be smacked out on that asphalt all you want. Living in your car, working for a madam. Oh, I'm sorry.
Whatever it takes to get that dream.
Whatever it takes to get your Miss Physique dream 4 years in a row.
you
Because
can
you've
have
already
your
won it
picture
3
on-
times. So, do you really need it that 4th time? You know what? You do whatever you want to do.
Such a good point because it's like if she had never won it before, then like maybe
No, she had won it 3 times.
Maybe it would be worth it.
No.
Oh my
Oh,
my god, I
sorry.
can't breathe.
I'm sorry, Annette. She's probably not feeling the best. Pass out on that asphalt.
She's like, the 3rd time was not a charm.
Homegirl has been resuscitated. She passed out today. She's been resuscitated. She's been yelled at, sent home, and punched. She gets knocked out, and she's ass up, face down on the asphalt while people are walking over her. She's had a really rough day.
And I appreciate that. But Oh my god, I can't. Annette, come on. So nobody
baby girl.
Nobody stops to help Annette until
Nobody, like literally nobody, you guys. It's a crowded beach.
not a one.
Because again, during the day, this all
the
happens
middle of
in
the
the middle of the day. Bright people walking around. This 7-foot guy punches this girl. She's out cold. It just falls straight face down on the sidewalk, and nobody bats an eye. He leaves the scene, and still nobody bats an eye.
He also punches out one of the windows of her car. Even more attention is drawn to the scene, and then he just leaves. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. I guess that girl got punched or something. Just leave her. She'll be okay.
Ooh, okay. Let's
So-
get it.
Because the 5 bike cops are the only decent people in all of Santa Monica, Huntington, Venice Beach.
Yeah.
Nobody helps Annette until TC and Chris ride by on their bikes.
She's down there for hours. I'm sorry. That is not a funny situation in real life, but this is a show. We are making fun of the show, not of the situation. But she was down there for hours. Just in this. There's like kids walking past her with balloons and like families on vacation. She's just literally face down, ass up, just so knocked out. Not a soul. Oh, except for TC after they ride back hours later.
They're on the very, very tail end of their shift. What's that over there?
Classic Annette. Classic Annette. Can't take that girl anywhere without getting knocked out on the street. Oh, God. Okay. So, yes, TC and Chris, they do ride by at the end of their shift after Annette's been knocked out for hours, and they help her get up and live her life, and she appreciates that.
Well, at this point, she does not have a choice. They call the ambulance because she's still unconscious. They take her to the hospital because she can't argue. And you hear this very soulful, jazzy rendition
of Do the Saints Go Marching In. The jazziest, the most relaxing song you can get. Oh, how I want to be in that number. The dumbest song, but it's they make it so soulful. Like, you get emotional. You get emotional seeing this sunset.
They're panning over the sunset and the pier, and he's just playing with all of his heart and soul. And I'm like, I died because they tried to make it so beautiful, but B, it's like you could tell they couldn't afford the rights to anything else. So they were like,
so the Saints, like the national anthem, that's the only thing they can play.
Maybe we can just like jazz it up a little. I think it'll work. I think people will fall for it. It's not a big deal.
But that ends our saga.
The Sidetracked podcast with host Deke Antrim is the newest podcast completely dedicated to all things movies. Conversations with guests are always a hilarious and informative way to deep dive into some of your favorite films, TV shows, and anything pop culture related. Check out our latest episode, in which stars Sean Young and William Sanderson give behind-the-scenes stories never heard before from their experiences working on the sci-fi classic Blade Runner. Follow us at Sidetracked with an apostrophe D.stream, brought to you by the Forwardly Network.